Thank you, Riv. And Nidalee, as he pointed out, one of many AP champions that found their way onto TSM's team comp there. Yeah. If you include the support, 4 AP relying on only Wild Turtle for that attack damage.
And the thing when you run a team composition like that is you really need your AD carry to do well. And Wild Turtle did well this game, not only in the pick of Sivir to be able to do a lot of AoE physical damage, because no one could build any magic resist, or sorry, any armor because of the 4 AP champions. He was kind of set up for success. But if he would have been shut down, the team comp would have fallen apart. But TSM played it right.
Yeah, and we saw Bjergsen, though, also making plays on that Lissandra, actually being the person to shut down Cali Trolls. You know, I think it was at some point Kobe said, or no, actually it was you, Jat. We were talking back here, and you're like, hey, I keep looking up going, oh, Dyrus is doing really well against Cali Trolls, and then realizing that it was actually a mid Lissandra that was roaming to the side lanes and getting these solo kills. So, you know, nice to see them, as we've pointed out, bringing out some new picks, but performing well on them going into IEM this coming week.
Yeah, you see the teammate composition as well. This is a composition that really relies on Cali Trolls getting the Lich Bane as fast as possible and then split pushing, because he's kind of has a dis-synergy with everybody else on the comp. And it's usually a good idea when you're against teammate to camp Slushy early, make sure he doesn't get off the ground and dominate the mid game, because then he's very confident and makes plays. And then you go camp Cali and keep him down, because he's the shot caller of the team. And if you can put him on tilt, then you really kind of make teammate look like this disorganized mess.
Well, and they did look a little bit.
Yeah, it's exactly
I was like, and that's exactly what happened. Yeah, they did look like a bit of a disorganized mess. To your point, though, in the mid lane, Slushy has to be given a little bit of credit. We've said week in and week out that he's actually performing very well as an individual. Here, he gets his flash blown very early on in the game in that solo lane. Comes back, he's forced to back again, but does so safely and only manages to be behind by about 20 CS without a death coming out of lane.
Yeah, and I don't think this is do or die situation for Team 8. The fact that they're able to come out of this week 1-1 when they're playing Team Liquid and TSM can be looked at as a success. It wasn't a bunch of dejected faces on Team 8's side after the game. I think they're going to be completely fine. They just ran into a pretty solid TSM team here.
Yeah, they're having a ton of fun, too. There was actually an interview that I watched with Travis and Slushy, and they were saying that all they do is play for fun for the most part. When they're scrimming, they're having a ton of fun. Dodo has to reel them in and say, stop trolling, you guys. You're having a little too much fun. But regardless of whether they win or lose, they're a team that's always looking forward and always looking to just add something else and just add a new element to their play style. So they're constantly improving, and they're having a ton of fun doing it, which I think is beautiful.
You see a little bit of that in their play style, and it becomes unbridled sometimes, right? And we notice that in individual misplays in a couple team fights. Maple Street going a little bit too hard in the paint there on Lucian, not necessarily recognizing the amount of damage he could do.
I need to talk about that play, just for Maple Street. Unfortunately, because Maple Street has been a guy, he made that big Graves play in their impulse win, but he's ultimately a guy who usually doesn't seem to do much in a game. We're always talking about Porpoise, Cali, Slushy, and Maple's just playing safe. It was a really poor play, and here's why. It didn't understand like he understood his damage. It didn't look like he understood his damage. He was a Trinity Force Bloodthirster guy. I can understand Lucian dashing in with IEPD, hoping he gets some crits and guns blazing, knock him down. You don't have much crit in a Bloodthirster Trinity Force build. He should know his damage output because he wasn't even close to getting that kill on Lissandra, and it was basically a suicide that he flashed into.
Yep. Yeah, and I think with that team, when you look at the fact that they have Cali Trolls and Slushy and then Porpoise stepping up huge, you've got enough individual playmakers. They really just need Maple Street to fall into that. You know, when the team does well, I'll be there as the supportive backline, and you know, he is successful in that role, and for him to kind of hold on to that. So we'll look to see whether or not they can kind of rein in a little bit of those unbridled moments. But as you stated, Jet, I don't think there's any cause for concern for Teammate. A very solid week for them. Solid victory for TSM moving into IEM. Now, coming up, we have a battle for 4th place between Team Liquid and Impulse. The former SKT T1 teammates, Piglet and Impact, say they have mixed emotions about facing each other in competitive play.
우린 처음으로 상대편을 만나는데 솔직히 시청자 입장에서 재밌지. 저는 좀 부담스럽거나 이런 건 있긴 한데 그래도 뭐 재밌는 경기 보여줬으면 좋겠어요, 서로.
저도 처음으로 상대팀에 SK 전 멤버가 있는데 뭔가 모르게 그냥 좀 뭔가 아쉽고 그냥 막 뭔가 만약에 죽일 타이밍에 나오면은 막 안 죽일 수도 있다는 막 그런 생각도 들어요. 막 너무
치지 마 죽일 거.
당연히 뻥이고요. 그냥 뭔가 좀 많이 아쉬워요.
Man.
I mean, it's nice to see the camaraderie between those two guys. It must be also very nice to have each other within the region.
Yeah.
As a support system.
They went through so much together. You can see that even though it was known that they weren't the closest members of SK Telecom, you can tell that bond runs pretty deep.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, keep it tuned right here. When we come back, we'll see how that matchup plays out. You're watching the NALCS.
Heidi ho, everybody, let's go!
Let's go!
Let's go!
Wahoo!
Wow!
He's not gonna miss, he does, but he's gonna trade his life, I think. No, Dodo shows up, but Timbers turns it around. Shields come in, Janice saves him, and Bjergsen's now alone. Pops Zonia's to buy some time. Slushie flashes out. There's the equalizer. It means one, it means two.
Can I E? Can I E?
I'm gonna E, I'm gonna E. I'm gonna E, I'm gonna E. Rek'Sai. Callie. Carry Ori.
I'm dead.
Alright, we're fine.
One for one.
Jungler for support the other way. Mabel goes in, looks for Bjergsen. Wild Turtle trades him back. Double kill for Sivir. Porpoise falls as well. That's going to be TSM holding on to first place.